All right.
Yeah. I know Zoom. Whatever.
Got it.
Good morning, Thursday Warriors. Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
I am John as always. This is Justin. You know him. He's been around a couple times, maybe.
Oh, it's been like it's almost going on 2 years here.
Yeah.
So I guess that supplants me as semi-permanent co-host.
Well, I mean, yeah, because Tim hasn't decided to come back for anything. He's been, dealing with stuff, and other than that, I mean, you're like the holy crap. Let me think. All right, so originally it was me, Ken, and Chip. Then it was me and Ken. Then it was like Ryan did a spot. Brian Brickner did them for a while. Sabine was doing them for a while. Bo and TJ were doing them for a while, and then Tim, and then you. So you're like, I don't know, like my 10th co-host.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. So this is our second early show. We're trying to see if it makes a difference. But we'll see how it goes. Justin and I have been busy. Obviously, we had the show a couple weeks ago. Last week we went to Sci-Fi Valley. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, reminder, this weekend is Lord of the Rings launch for Magic the Gathering. You can go to your local NDC and pick up Lord of the Rings stuff and whatever.
I don't think anybody
I don't really care.
Yeah,
I don't really care, so whatever. I think it's just a dumb ploy by Hasbro, but that's just me. So then the following week is the key here. So if you or next week, so the big thing that's all weekend is the warehouse sale. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, times are on the website. If you're a golden ticket holder, you can go in on Thursday. I will be there all day Thursday. Most of Friday, part of Saturday, but I will not be there Sunday. Because Saturday is our customer appreciation sale. So I'll be in Elwood hanging out with that. And then Sunday we have our McFoley signing at the Mills. You can now prepay for your autographs or photo ops or combo packs. Just go to our ndcomics.com, see it in the scroller, click on it, and it has the links for each one on there. You prepay for it, reserves your spot in line. So come and check it out.
I was going to say, I'm going to announce this since we've already gotten several inquiries about it through Facebook. We are not getting autographs from him as a store and then selling them out.
Correct. He will be there.
What we're doing.
Correct.
This is a event. You have to be there to get the autograph. If you're not there, you're not getting the autograph. So to everybody who's like, oh, I can just, I can go back, come in on Monday and there'll be photos and stuff. No,
that's not how that works.
That we're not doing that.
Nope.
It's one thing having a comic artist sign a bunch of books and then we have the books for you. That's one thing. A live event like this, we are not doing that. So just put that out there.
Right.
This is for
the event. Like you are not. This is not prepay and get it later. This is because the signature item is something you have to bring to him.
Yeah.
Right. So just so you guys are clear on that, that's not like he has items.
Package thing, which is
we are not getting extra items. We are not doing any of that stuff. It is literally
you're not providing anything along that line.
This is just you prepaying so that you don't have to wait in line. You can just get in line if you've prepaid. As long as you keep your receipt, either as an email, or if you come in the store and pay for it, you can do it with paper. If you come in the store, you have to go to the mills. You cannot go to any of our other locations to buy it in person. You have to go to the Pittsburgh Mills.
Yep.
But anyway, check that out on the website. It's going to be a good time. And then we have another geek flea market coming up for 4th of July weekend. I think it's going to be the weekend before. I will have more information on that next week, I promise. So
I was going to say, I hope it turns out better than the last one.
I don't know. I did pretty good at the last one. I don't know.
Fine. I think the rest of us were sorely disappointed.
That's not my problem.
And to be fair, again, I get it. It was early. It was an odd weekend. Cool. But if you're around, it's Cranberry again, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have huge parking lot. We're going to lay it out. I don't know if I'm going to put stuff out again.
I don't have anything else to put out, but
Yeah.
I like I said, I took 3 short boxes of comics and I sold like $50 out of there, and then I just sold the rest of the store and I was done. And then I bought a cool book after that. So
Yep.
Yeah, so that's what you gotta do. You gotta have the right stuff, the right people to show up for it. And that's kind of the thing, is like it's gotta be the right people to come and check it out. But there were a lot more people there for the last one than there were in the previous probably 2 or 3, both vendors and attendees. It also is weird because it's on the holiday weekend. It's hard to get people to come in sometimes, especially when it was as nice of a day. I think the weather being that nice kind of hurt. But anyway, all right. So last weekend, Justin and I went to Sci-Fi Valley in Altoona.
Yep.
And my buddy Tim helped out. Thank you again to Tim and his family for letting us crash their house. And B, for helping out all weekend long. They are awesome. And to my
and C, for providing some excellent pizza and wings.
yes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Adia. And for Adia, my pseudo niece, throw the horns. Throw the horns. Yeah.
And I thank the family also, because I started doing Pokemon Go again. Part of my fitness thing is getting out. So they added me as friends. So I have all of them as new friends on Pokemon Go. So
there you go. So yeah, the show was fine. Like for us, we changed up what we brought. There were a lot of people there. There were over 6,000 people there, is what they said. It just we changed up what we brought. People were expecting one thing, we didn't have it. And so for us, like it wasn't super great with sales, but it wasn't terrible. I will just say that as a vendor,
we did okay.
We did okay.
Except the one. Shall I go into this incident of the story of
no,
because it was like
I don't want to. No.
Well,
no.
It comes with a moral to that story, though, is never, ever, ever cock block your buddy from buying a book that he really, really.
I don't want to think about it again, because it was a sad moment. That would have made that show stupendous. But honestly, though, I think we just brought the wrong stuff this year for the crowd. The crowd was very anime focused, and as it should have been, because they had like the entire voice cast of Avatar, and that was pretty awesome. I love that show. It's great. Like it was not a bad show by any means.
No. It was
a lot of fun
as well. I think as compared to last year. Last year we did very well last year.
Yeah. Well, last year they had the Ninja Turtle voice actors. So it made it pretty easy to be like, here's all my Ninja Turtle stuff.
To be fair, Rob was there. So there was Raphael, which is the only turtle that counts.
He's also Donatello now.
Yeah.
Right?
So
or is the other way around?
2 turtles.
Yeah.
You can't,
Right. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, thank you to Casey and the team for that. That was a good show. I liked it a lot. I had a lot of fun. And it's always good to be in my old stomping grounds. As like, that's part of my deal. I did pick up 2 books while I was there, and this is cool. So the first one is Animal, Vegetable, Mineral, Man. First appearance, Doom Patrol number 89. And this is just awesome, and this is why we named the episode what we did. Because it's that awesome. And then this one is Strange Tales 161 by Jim Steranko, and I bought this because Jim's coming to our Cranberry store in August. All the details on that should be up hopefully by the end of next week. It will be a ticketed event only in Cranberry. I just got to figure out like 1 or 2 more small details, and then we'll be putting it up. So probably by like Wednesday at the earliest.
Yeah. I would show off what I got, but unfortunately, I am here at my home base of my normal work hours here. So I cannot show off what I got, but my wife was excited. Unfortunately, she had to be elsewhere. She had graduation plans, but she sent me out, and I got Maurice and Rob's autographs
Nice.
on Pinky and the Brain's pop figures. And
Nice.
it's to her, it's directly to Cupcake. So no, they are not for sale. We're not that kind of,
I mean, unless her name also happens to be
happens to
Cupcake.
be Cupcake. Which, if you're a stripper that's into Pinky and the Brain, hey, call my
Yeah.
wife,
Yeah, there you
Although
go.
I don't think she's going to part with them because it was part of our anniversary gift. Because our anniversary was that week, the week
So, like-
of there.
So like 5 more years when you're divorced. That's what you're saying.
Oh Jesus! Don't say that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I
You are
can't.
lucky I'm not doing this from home.
I only would have said it just to watch her go, "What? God damn it, John!" No,
Want to see
she-
this thing?
she
hurl.
knows. You guys know that I love you guys, and that I only want the best for you. Like, it was a total joke. Or 5 years from now, when you just need money, and you're like, you know what? We're gonna go on a super awesome anniversary thing. Let's sell those pops.
Well, we are planning something, so we'll see
There you go.
in 2 years.
There you go. There you
See
go.
where we're at.
All right. Now let's talk some comics.
Mhm.
Because I really don't think we have anything like TV movie spoilery wise to talk about today.
What we had, the Flash does come out this week,
Yeah.
so I have yet to see the Spider-Verse movie, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
So we've been so busy, we haven't had time to do.
Well, so Strange New World starts up again. Secret Invasion is soon, and there's something else that I'm missing. Well, firstly, DC decided to cancel Gotham Knights and but renew Superman Lois for a 4th season. So I don't know if that'll be the last season or if it's just going to be the 4th season. We're going to see, but it's the only one that remains from the old CW pantheon of Arrowverse, which is crazy to think about. But it was huge.
Well, it was a good 10-year run there.
Yeah.
10 years? Or a little bit more than that. A little bit more.
I think it was 10. It was 10, but you have to remember there was a pandemic that year in there too.
Yeah.
But I think they even still released stuff during that, but it wasn't a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it went 9 seasons 9 seasons of Flash, but there were 2 seasons of Arrow before that, I think, right? Didn't he appear in the 3rd season?
Yes.
Yeah. So 11 years so far. That's a lot. Good for them.
There's no more. Arrow's been off the air for 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, 19 was the last year.
Okay,
20,
yeah,
maybe 2020.
because what's his name? The main actor, I forget his name.
Steve Emile.
Yeah, he's doing a pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Uh, was is it on Showtime?
I have no idea. I can't.
It's
All
on
I know is I
Showtime.
can't watch
It's
it.
kind of a cool look into pro wrestling, like what they do in the background as a drama. Who
Right.
happens to also have former Pittsburgh Steeler James Harrison in it. So shout out
Really?
to Harrison. Yeah, he's one of the wrestlers in the federation that he's a part of. I watched the first season. It is really good. So if you guys are looking for something to kind of watch for that and what Vice is behind the dark behind the mat thing, the new
Mhm.
season comes out for that too, which is going to be
Nice.
really good. Those are always really awesome because it's a lot of rumors and speculation.
Right.
All the stuff you hear, like, oh, this, I heard they did this in pro wrestling, that a lot of those stories are true and they dig into it and it's hardcore digging.
Hmm.
Like they don't softball this. They there's a lot of this
That's
is
awesome.
Vinnie Mac's fault and Hunter's fault and all that kind of stuff. So if you're into pro wrestling like I am, where it's like you wonder what happens behind the scenes, you get a lot of that in that Vice, the dark behind the mat stuff. A lot of tragic stuff too, which is
Yeah.
very, very depressing. But it's that story that needs out there too.
Speaking of
Anyway.
depressing, we're gonna have a moment of silence for the loss of a comic industry absolute icon
Mhm.
and legend.
Mhm.
John Romita Sr. Passed away the other day. We wish the best for his family as they go through this. It just really sucks. I mean, I own a couple of the Spider-Man books that he did. And it's crazy. I think I own 39 and 40, which are
Mhm.
his first couple. I own the Death of Gwen Stacy, and a couple other ones. And it's crazy to think that he did that for he was on Spider-Man for like decades.
Yeah.
Because he got I'm pretty sure that Ron Friends took over after Senior,
Mhm.
in the 200s. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So,
he also is the creator of Wolverine here, one of the
yep.
creators. So he, out of that whole the creation of Wolverine, there is one creator left alive. So it definitely hit hard for me, and I'm like, oh, that's one less legend. I will probably never get a reasonably priced signature book
Yep.
somewhere if I could find it. As a non-Spider-Man fan, I look at him as I'm lucky enough I have 9 books of his in my collection. One shocked me though, which here's a little humor to add to the tragedy. He worked on Beavis and Butthead #4, the original series. And I laughed. I'm like,
Nice.
really? And I had to double check. And he was part of that crew. And it was working. I'm like, wow, that is cool.
Yeah. He did Punisher.
Mhm.
He did a lot. He was like I said, he was a staple,
Mhm.
an iconic creator. So may he rest in peace. And the hope his family is comforted in this time.
Mhm.
All right.
Very much so. Well,
Now let's talk
shall we
comics.
add the local guy too?
Go ahead.
You know who else passed away?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can do this one.
This one is for all you Yunzers out there. A local legend has passed. Stan Savern passed away. What, the day before John Romita died?
No, I think they both passed on the
The
12th.
same day. Okay.
It's just Romita, they waited I think almost a whole day before anyone
Announce it.
I think,
Okay.
yeah. It
And
was very
that's,
close. That's all I know.
yeah, yeah. So again, it's, wishes to his family as well. Um, Anybody who's listened to any kind of sports in Pittsburgh knows who Stan Savran is. Definitely iconic legend of radio. His radio show. He was doing his radio show up to the day he died. Yeah, he was still doing it, and he was mid-70s. So, uh,
Right.
you know, true Pittsburgher through and through. We will sorely miss him as
Indeed.
well in the Pittsburgh communities. So,
All right. Now that we're all bummed out and depressed from death, let's talk comic books and hopefully not be.
that's depressed.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna talk about Steelworks #1. This came out last week, and Michael Dorn of Star Trek of fame, Star Trek fame, wrote this book and voiced him on the show. So this was kind of interesting because it's like, it's like it. So it's Michael Irons, doing like he's building some kind of power grid or power something so that people don't need supers anymore to help them. But him and his niece don't necessarily they're not necessarily going to let everybody fall to that, but he's like, people shouldn't need to look to the sky for superheroes to help. So Lana Lang's in it, who's dating Steel, and
Now, is this like in continuity with the original Steel, like from Death of Superman era, or is this changed up a bit since?
so it's
That's the
Dawn of
last time I read
DC.
Steel.
So I don't really know because it says it's Dawn of DC, and there's a page right here where you see like everybody, but you don't see, like, I don't know who these kids are up here. Like, I don't know who they are, and I don't know about, like, but like the new Superman, like the one from China's in here, and like Superboy's in here, and Supergirl's in here, but they're really not in the story though. It's mostly talking about this. He's almost like Tony Stark building the reactor in the
Okay.
first Iron Man movie, right? And then Charles Walker III, who was a bad guy from back in the day, is basically like, I want to espionage this thing. I'm gonna have these guys, or I'm gonna pick up this guy and I'm gonna mess with him, experiment on him, and then have him unleashed into the tower and try to mess stuff up. So he basically makes him so he can walk through walls. His biological stuff can walk through walls, but his clothes will not. So he basically is like naked. Which is interesting. So then you just see like
I
you
would say
see like
so.
you see like somebody's broken into the steelworks ground floor, and then like Natasha Irons, who is the girl Steel with like the hoodie, she she like tells the security guys to fire on the intruder, and that's how the book ends. So it was good. Oh, Ron said the kids are Kryptonians that Superman saved from Warworld. Cool. Good to know. Thanks, Ron.
Okay, there you go.
Because I didn't read that because I thought it looked like crap. I know. It's not that it looked like crap. It's just it didn't look appealing to me. That's the way I'll say it. But anyway, overall, it was a pretty good book. It was very intriguing. I'm gonna
Sounds
give
very
it.
slow.
it definitely is a good first issue setup, but it did feel a little slow. So I'm gonna go scrambled eggs, one piece of toast, one strip of bacon.
Okay.
So,
All right, cool.
and the art was pretty good too. So,
All right. Well, I don't have the books in front of me, but I did these. These are last week that I prepped before we talked about the Archon. So, because I didn't think we would like go over as much as we did last week. But I did read two from last week, one from this week. So I will do one from last week that I totally caught me off guard. Really looking forward to seeing where this is going because it's really cool. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Street Fighter #1. And apparently in the universe here, the Ninja Turtles are out, like they're not hiding in the shadows or anything. They're in Las Vegas, and the book starts out of Raphael and Guile beating the crap out of each other in a ring. Apparently, they're in a martial arts tournament, and they're trash talking, but it's like a really intense fight. The art is really, really, I don't want to say good. Good is lame. It's exactly how you would picture in your imagination on if Ninja Turtles fought Street Fighter. Like your 10-year-old brain is like, oh, this would be like the coolest thing ever. This is what this book felt like. Like Giles punching Raph, trash talking him, and then Raph turns around and punches him right back. While the fight is going on, you see Bison watching, because of course, if you have Street Fighter, you have to have Bison. And he partnered up with Baxter Stockman. They're watching this fight, and Bison's excited because he's watching Raphael, and he's like, "Look at this!" He's being all complimentary about how a magnificent specimen Raphael was, and look at the ferocity of him fighting this, that, and the other. And Baxter's like, "Yeah, you don't want to be involved with any of these turtles." He's like, all they do is bring destruction and mayhem. Which he's not wrong because, Baxter Stockman's had personal things with him. Now, while the tournament's going on, Leonardo and Michelangelo and Donatello are watching. The fight ends because Bison's like, okay, we got to cut this out. So it ends rigged because apparently Guile wins by Raph punches him in the throat, and apparently that was a quote illegal move in this tournament, and they end it. While this is like kind of going on, a woman in the crowd is crying, and she grabs Leonardo because of course she's looking for her, I believe it's her son, who was also participating in this tournament and has disappeared. You start getting this slow build of during this tournament in Vegas, people are going missing. Which you later find out it's basically because Bison and Stockman are kidnapping people for some ultimate, fighting machine that they're looking for. They're trying to create the ultimate fighters, which hence Baxter Stockman working with Bison. So of course Leo's like getting all worried. He's like, we should really help find this kid because Leonardo is a dork like that. Mikey is trying to get snacks at the snack bar. Ends up spilling a Coke on Chun-Li. And they kind of banter back and forth, but Mikey apologizes. But lo and behold, the next fight is Mikey versus Chun-Li. So it pretty much goes how you kind of expect. Is Mikey doesn't want to hit her. Cause Mikey's very, I don't want to hit a chick. This ain't cool. And she's like, well, I'm a warrior, and she's kicking, but he's doing the whole, you're kicking, but I'm kind of taking the blows lightly. Like he's avoiding and dodging. And she eventually wins because she knocks him out of the ring and everything. But
Right.
she's like, after that, she's like, you're very honorable for not wanting to hurt women. But she's like, I am more than capable of holding my own. And he's like, well, they start flirting a little bit, which is, I don't know if they're going to go further than that, but it was kind of interesting a little bit there.
Right.
The turtle, Raphael still kind of miffed about the whole thing. So he's gambling, and watching the turtles gamble was kind of interesting in Vegas. It was very surreal watching the Ninja Turtles other than in New York or in a sewer. It felt really odd watching them in a different city.
Mhm.
But it was very cool because the way the book presented itself was very colorful and lively. And you see the book ends with the Street Fighters kind of talking about how this tournament's very weird. And Ryu sees all the posters of missing fighters and everything, and missing people. So you're getting the looming that this is going to get bigger as it goes on. It does end with Raph challenging Guile in the alleyway for round 2 here. So I'm looking forward to this series. It really has me intrigued because I do enjoy Ninja Turtles. I'm not hardcore, but it is part of my childhood and I do enjoy it. But I've always kind of been a very Street Fighter fan, Mortal Kombat fan, the two fighting games I grew up on. So
Mhm.
this is an interesting mashup, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. I will
Awesome.
give this like full on Texas omelet with 3 perfectly done strips of bacon. Like
Ooh, that's
this is
some
a
high
this is
praise.
this is a solid book, and I think if you haven't if you want good old 80s 90s nostalgia, this might be a book for you, kind of under the radar type deal here. So
Hmm. Let's see. Um, all right. My next book, Green Lantern #2.
I knew you were going on.
Let's see if my review is better than your review of that.
Oh
This book
my.
is pretty awesome. At the end of the first book, we saw how go up against a manhunter, a dude in a manhunter suit, and basically pull the willpower out of it and create a ring out of his own willpower, which is insane. Um, there's this really funny scene where there's some guys and they run into some bad guys that are trying to rob some stuff, and they go into a cemetery. So he's like, what does Bruce always say? He's like, oh yeah, let me see if this ring can do some stuff. So instead of running up to them and having them do something bad, even worse, uh he creates um all of these basically ghosts out of the constructs. And he's like, oh, join us in eternity, blah blah blah, it freaks them all out and they run like hell. It's hilarious. um and then he's just kind of playing around with the ring. At one point he goes back to his trailer, and Kilowog's there, and he was like, how was your first day at work? And he's like about as good as the last day in the Corps. And they talk about how he left the whatever they call it, the something planets, um the United Planets, to try to keep them from falling apart, and try to be a leader there. And he was like, I'm going to go home. And Kilowog basically is like, stop your whining. It's really funny. And he makes he uses the word bar flats, which is like a swear word in space, because Hal's like, whoa, language. So and then he talks about how Mountain Dew tastes like Andorio puddle water. So some good jokes. And then it goes on to where Carol and her fiance are getting on a plane, and Hal's the pilot. And you find out that like he started in the mailroom, and then he moved up to a driver, and then he got promoted to the pilot, all in the same day. So he is like the first officer on a Learjet, basically. So he meets Nathan, who's her fiance, and makes some jokes and hangs out with Nathan. And Nathan's like, he's actually kind of cool. Like, what the hell? And she's like, don't trust him at all. So the pilot's like, hey, you can take us up. Remember, this isn't a fighter jet. And there's a camera where he can see what's going on in the back, and they're like toasting to themselves, like being like, hey, this is great. And he just totally like jerks the stick, and it just spills champagne all over Nathan. And he's like, hey, you guys, like, sorry about that, you guys okay? And he's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, wash this out. So he basically gets some time with Carol to talk to Carol. But then the pilot's like, hey, I need you up here now. And you just see wraiths flying through the sky. So it's a very cool way to go there. A good story, like everything's been great. The art's fantastic. This book has nailed the Hal Jordan vibe for me. It's probably the best written Hal Jordan book we've seen since, dare I say, Jeff Johns. Like, there's been some good stuff in between, don't be wrong, like Grant Morrison. But this has been some really good stuff. And the backer story is John Stewart, and it talks about how when the battery died, like he became the watchfire to keep the lanterns powered. And then eventually it looks like he might be the new Ion, but I don't know how that's gonna work. It's very weird. We'll just call it that. This book I'm gonna give a all meats omelet, two pieces of toast, 5 strips of bacon, and a hot cup of coffee. That is how good this book is. That is how good it is. If you are a Green Lantern fan, you need to be reading this book. Like, especially if you're a Hal fan, it is so good. I really love it. I love every moment of it. So cool.
I will do the one book that was available this week, and I'm grabbing this one because I was reading it yesterday. I grabbed it, and I know I do not like Rob Liefeld. I am not a fan of his. I respect
either.
I respect his contribution, but I have to give him props for the homage cover of the new Wolverine, number 34 here. I love this book, like the book itself. I have 2 copies of it at home. I have a hardcover and a soft cover. So I love the fact that he remembered exactly Frank Miller's graphic novel cover for the thing with Deadpool in it. I thought this was solid. So right off the bat, okay, cool. It's probably the only Rob Liefeld thing I will probably own.
Lies.
No, I don't buy a lot of that, his era of stuff, but that's beside the point. But where we left off on Wolverine, number 34, was Wolverine and Maverick are going to confront Beast and the giant skeleton giant colossus thing that he made from pieces of Krakoa, with this army of like mindless savage Wolverines, clones, and his buddy, oh, what's his name? I gotta find his name here first. Oh, Jeff, his CIA buddy that he's been drinking with and stuff. Accidentally, they're firing on Wolverine and Maverick, thinking Wolverine is one of the evil clones. Oh, they figure out that, hey, it's a big mix-up, but there's a lot of explosions early on. While they're doing this, of course, it catches the attention of the giant Colossus thing. So it pops out. Jeff gets dragged into the water. Apparently, it's a giant monolith. Not only is he giant, he shoots out this like big ray thing out of his hand, destroys several military jets. So this has kind of gotten out of hand. So Wolverine's trying to find Jeff, can't find him. Maverick and Wolverine are kind of retreat back. They're in Norway and they're trying to figure out what their next plan of attack. In comes one of the clones holding what looks like a grenade. They quickly like dispose of this clone. And it's not a grenade. It's a message from Beast. It's this holographic thing going here. We got to meet, we got to discuss where we're going to go from here. So they meet in a restaurant. This is kind of very Goodfellas, mafia type deal here, which is kind of cool because Beast is sitting there and he's eating like lobster in front of Wolverine, and Wolverine's not exactly in the mood to be drinking champagne and eating lobster with him. And he's like, he even says, he's like, I don't drink that fancy piss.
Wow. Indeed.
But he's sitting there and he's eating and he's describing his thing. He's like, you leave me alone, I leave you alone, and we'll all get along fine. And Wolverine's like, this isn't you. And Beast uses the whole correlation of comparing it to like getting drunk at a frat party and a person that normally doesn't like spin out of control goes out of control when they're drunk and at this frat party. He's like, same correlation, So it's not a very actiony, in the beginning of the book there's like action, but it's not very action, but you're getting to the point of what's going on here. But Beast basically wants his clones back that they have captured, him and Maverick have, and he will give Jeff back because apparently he captured Jeff. So, Wolverine just wants to slice Beast in half, but kind of figures that he's either a clone or whatnot. So he's, he waits. But at the end of the book, they're sitting there and Maverick and Wolverine are trying to discuss a battle plan. But as they're doing it, Maverick's like, hey, look at this. And the clones have started talking. And what they've realized, like throughout this arc, when Beast was controlling Wolverine, his healing factor repaired his mind to where he resisted all the crap that Beast did to him. This is the exact same thing is happening to the clones. So they're realizing that the clones here may end up you're getting the thing of the clones may end up turning on Beast because they are realizing, because Beast just abuses them. He doesn't care. He's like, you're disposable to me. So it's an interesting, it's a slow book, but it's a very interesting tie-in to the story. New York's excellent as well. Like I said, this this volume has been really good, and I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, I think the last issue, if you're not reading this current volume of Wolverine, what are you doing? Because this is solid stuff. Because I know a lot of people don't like the current X-Men stuff at all. But the Wolverine end of it and the X Factor end of it, still pretty steady and solid. So
Right.
give this stuff a chance, guys. So I will
Mhm.
give this scrambled eggs, a little bit of cheese on top, and I'll give it a piece of sausage and
Mm.
one piece of bacon.
Okay.
It was a solid overall book, nothing spectacular, but it was by far not bad. Definitely set
Right.
up for the next issue, which should be really
Mhm.
good. So
All right. My last book is Void Rivals #1. I will be spoiling something in this book if people are living under a rock and don't already know why this book is important. Anyway, so this book is about two aliens to us, two species that get stuck in this voided planet. It's Derek and Solila, Solila, however you say that. And their ships are wrecked, so they decide they're going to try to like put them together and get out of there, even though they're not supposed to. And they screw one thing up, and the other ship that could have got them out blew up. So then they're like decide to walk around and see what else is there, and they find another ship and they're like, oh, this might work. And while they're looking around, they also find another ship, and they're like, oh, it has some kind of power cell that should be able to help to get the other one. So they use what little power cell they have to kind of jumpstart it to kind of see if the whole ship would work. Turns out it's a giant transformer. It's Starfire, and yeah, uh, and
so I take it Chip's going to have this
oh, he
one.
already knew. So and he's just kind of like uh he's like, oh man, I must have been here for a long time. um and he's like, is that wind erosion? He's like, that would mean I've been here for millions of years. So he transforms back into a jet and flies away, and they're like, wait, take us with you. So they're kind of stuck, and then they decide to take their helmets off because they're going to basically build little mini suits to let them fly away themselves to help them. And they realize that they're pretty much the same species, even though their species are at war with each other. And it was a very like it sets up like a almost like a love story, like in Saga, where like they're two species that shouldn't mesh that are going to mesh. But overall, the book was pretty good. The thing that I thought was awesome was at the very end are the solicitations for the next 3 Hasbroverse things, because this is the first Hasbroverse in Image with Skybound. So Transformers #1 that comes out in October. Daniel Warren Johnson is doing it, which I'm super pumped for, and I may have to ask him to come back on the show to talk about it. Duke #1 for the G.I. Joe stuff, Josh Williamson and Tom Riley. So that's awesome. Cobra Commander #1, Josh Williamson and Andrea Milana. So that's January and December and January, respectively. So I'm super pumped about the talent that's going on for the Hasbroverse, where it's going. I think that they have put the right people in place for this, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. So I'm giving this just purely on the nostalgia base that it kicked forward. I'm giving it a bowl of Count Chocula and a and a glass of orange juice, because it reminds me of being like the kid in me is very excited about it, and that
It's
would have
too
been
early for Count Chocula, dude. You only get that in Halloween.
okay. Fine, it's Booberry.
You can't get any of
Okay,
those.
fine. It
You got to
is
go like,
Lucky Charms.
there we go.
It's Lucky Charms and a glass of orange juice.
There you
So
go. There you
yeah.
go. Yeah, you can't non-materialized seasonal cereals.
I
Although
didn't know
did
they
you
were
see?
seasonal. I thought they were just all year round now.
No, they stopped doing that like a long time ago. Like before
Lies.
you and I were born.
Lies.
They're
Ugh.
seasonal only because trust me, my wife has the original like trio pops of those monster cereals, which actually they're coming out with a new monster cereal this season.
Yeah.
It's going to be was it the apple caramel
Ooh.
one with apple caramel marshmallows and stuff. It's like some kind of female Frankenstein monster icon. It actually looks pretty cool. Not big into that taste, but hey, everybody does what they like there.
I'm just double checking to see if I can actually buy it right now. I think you're
You
right.
could
I think
probably
it is
buy it on like
seasonal.
Amazon or eBay or
No,
something.
no. I gotta check in like I'm checking like Walmart.
No.
Because if anyone's gonna tell me the truth, it's Walmart.
Well,
Boom! I can buy Booberry right now.
okay. All right.
So
there you go.
Count Chocula, on the other hand, no.
Okay. Can you get Frankenberry though?
Oh, hold on. Let me check.
Because Frankenberry is always the underutilized one.
You're not wrong. No.
Okay. That's weird that you only get Boo Berry.
Oh, wait. So I can't get the cereal, but I can get like I can get a lip balm that tastes like it.
Okay. All right.
And I think and there's like a cereal bar.
Yeah,
you
get the cereal bars all year round, I think. But
yeah.
I know like the actual cereals, you got to wait till late September.
Cool.
Or September. My final book is the start of this before the fall of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Mutant Strike #1. This was really cool. It starts out this little town called Milford, New Hampshire, and it's hit with this giant energy blast, like totally devastates this town. And of course, the news is blaming the mutants, because why change up the narrative, right?
Right.
While this is going on, this circle, the council in Krakoa, are trying to figure out if this was an actual mutant, if this was one of their many enemies. Are they being framed? What's going on? They need to figure it out as well as the humans do. Bishop comes up and is like, I want to lead an aid team with a investigation team as well as an investigation team and figure it out while helping the humans. Kind of like, mutant version of the American Red Cross. They come down, they start helping the people. The people are, of course, very hesitant because they're afraid. But eventually they start helping as much as they can, because again, this is like basically a nuclear bomb minus the nuclear energy. Totally devastated this entire town. But they slowly started helping. As they are helping, though, they get attacked by, I haven't heard these guys in a while. And I remember them from their Captain America appearances. The Watchdogs show up.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, wow, that is a 90s nostalgic grab right there. They even had the same old outfits too, the stupid orange helmet with the orange armor-esque thing coming down. And they're, of course, trying to attack all the mutants. That don't do any good because,
Right.
Jean Grey pretty much just kind of levitates the ball up and tries to figure out if they were responsible for this. But while they're doing this, they're investigating what happened. There is a mutant's body they find, but they're finding out that this is like very CSI. This is like mutant version of CSI.
Mhm.
Really, really interesting. But they figure out that the mutant was actually cloned, and put there as basically like a dummy bomb in a flesh suit. It just happened to have mutant genetics in it. So it was definitely a shadow agency trying to blame the mutants. So they're trying to figure it out. As they do, they help quite a bit. They spend like a good, I want to say the time elapses, of course. But the people of the town actually trust the X-Men. And they're actually trying to say, hey, these mutants helped us. They didn't cause this. They're trying to help. And of course, the news is not having it. They're still constantly blaming the mutants, mutant. Like this is very, very on point with current events right now. Very, very eerie. But towards the end of the book, you see an elderly man in what's called the Bloom Earth is orbiting the Earth. And he's like, oh, we're moved to the next phase of the plan for the mutant problem. And that's where it ends. It's very good. Really enjoyed the story. The art was a little bit too cartoony for an X-Men, but it wasn't too bad. It was okay. But Bishop looked a little odd. I know he's not supposed to have like the mullet and everything, but they really slimmed him down, which kind of was like, I always figured Bishop being like big.
He's just a big muscular guy. Like
Yeah, yeah.
he was
He
never
didn't
like bulky, but he was like, he always
he
had
didn't
like the
look
broader
very big.
chest. Yeah.
They slim certain characters down where I think they probably shouldn't have. But nitpicking. The story was excellent. The art was, I want to say it's above average. It's just not my taste. But I will give this a solid scrambled eggs with a frappuccino with a baguette. Okay, this is very us. This is like laying the foundation for a very sophisticated storyline, because they stuck a lot of, if you're a CSI person, there's a lot of scientific CSI going on in it, which is a cool little twist that they added into it, because they had a couple of mutants that were like, well, I'm doing like the fingerprint, finding and this, that, and the other with using their powers. It was a really cool little bits and pieces here. I'm like, okay, I've never seen mutant powers used this way before, but I like it.
Right.
I think it's a different direction. Of course, this leads up to the whole Fall of the Mutants, which what is it, like the 6th or 7th time that Marvel's tried to destroy the mutant kind in the last decade. You guys need to stop this. It's getting very annoying. Stick with a story, stick with a thing of mutants, and
So
whatever. good.
Is this the bishop where he's like wearing the red jacket and he's got the short hair?
Yeah,
Okay, because he really looks like how Manchester Black looked in Supergirl. That dude also is in Star Trek Discovery. It looks a
Yeah.
lot like that guy. So
yeah.
anyway,
It was an odd looking bishop, like
I
comparative
like
to
it.
like normal bishop. But it was, like I said, solid start. I'm intrigued to see what happens after this. If it's as good as Sins of Sinister, I'll probably be happy with it. And I think most X-Men fans will probably enjoy it as well.
Awesome.
So,
Oh, by the way, the first Watch Dogs was Captain America 335 from 1987. I looked it up. So I was like,
Yep.
oh man, how old are those guys? And I looked it up, and it was like John
That's-
Walker era, John Walker Battlestar area. So,
yeah. Yeah, I remember them. Like I think that's when I was reading Cap as a kid, and I remember them being like like borderline Nazis back in the day. They're fighting Cap all the time.
I always
Domestic
considered
terrorists.
them more like a
I think closer to probably like what KKK than Nazis, but
I actually
they
think
were
like
very
if you were to fast forward to now, I think they would be more like what people would consider like the Proud Boys,
yes,
right? Like they're that kind of domestic terrorist group
yeah,
type thing. Anyway, all right, we are running pretty close on time, so good job,
Yep.
everybody. Remember everyone to come out and support next week. We got our customer appreciation sale. We got the warehouse sale. We got the McFoley signing. Buy your McFoley stuff early. Remember that you actually have to bring your stuff to get signed. We are not going to have extra stuff to be signed. That is not what you're buying. You are literally coming to bring your stuff. This is just a prepay to do it.
Yeah.
You can also prepay for the signature, the signature photo combo and the regular photo. Also, there will be other upgrades available from him. Like if you want the Faces of Foley signatures, which is multiple signatures, you have to upgrade that with him at the at the signing. So we will see you guys next week. Let us know what you guys think about this earlier in the day thing. You know, we're having pretty much the same amount of viewership like live, which
Very
is
much
interesting. You know, if we have to tailor this a little more, that'll be cool. I honestly don't mind.
Does that mean I get Thursdays off now? Because I prefer to do it from home. This doing it on the phone is very irritating.
Or you can just go into work later.
That's true too. But no, I get it. It's, you know, we're trying different things. I started up my little side thing on YouTube as well, guys. So if you want to hear more opinions or other comic stuff that we don't get to talk about on the podcast.
Wait. Please tell me you called it compromise.
No. It's just under my name. It's just under my regular YouTube profile. I didn't get very fancy with the title. I think I did that on Facebook, and of course Facebook like screwed everything up. So this is kind of like my pop culture, you know, show off my stuff, you know, just chat if anybody has like wants to send me questions or whatever. I will gladly answer questions on this too. And I tend to like to do it the Wednesday night, and that way, you know, because I also push the podcast, you know, I also push events around the Pittsburgh area, Westmoreland County area, you know, for anybody who's interested, because I think we all are looking for something to do now that, quote, you know, the pandemic's over, you know. But
maybe I'll start doing some more fun with my TikTok channel instead of just posting videos of my dogs. But
hey, that's always a go-getter. I've been doing that too. I'm going to try to push my TikTok as well. I may do TikToks, you know.
Speaking of which. Hi, Marshall.
Marshall.
Hi, Lucy. He's like, "What are you doing, Dad? Trying to sleep." All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Let us know in the comments which way you like it better, or let us know on Facebook or Twitter. Those are the
Yes.
places we are on. And we'll go from there. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.